It is a truly disturbing case that still haunts many people to this day, and she was never given proper justice. But I'm not here to talk about the horrible things that she's went through. There's plenty of videos and studies of that already. I'm here to talk about the criminals who did it, and more importantly, where are they now? And man, I discovered some interesting things. Despite the shockingly savage
Shit, I didn't go thread shopping.
4 main criminals have been protected due to them being minors at the time. Some media outlets, however, did decide to publish their names,
like our physical copy of Fallout 3
magazine at the time, on the grounds that due to the severity of the crime, their identities should not in fact be protected. The main criminals were Hiroshi Miyano, now Hiroshi Okayama, Joe Agura, now Joe Kamasaku, Nobuharu Minato, now Shinji Minato, and Yasushi Watanabe.
Oh, straight
So as you can see, most of them had changed their names to protect their identities. Rather than pleading guilty to murder, all of the criminals pleaded guilty to causing bodily injury that resulted in death. The 4 criminals were tried as juveniles but had to be convicted as adults. Unfortunately, each of them were already released from prison. The justice system in Japan completely failed Junko and her family. On a side note, many English sources claim that Hiroshi Miyano liked Junko, but Japanese sources state otherwise, that the boys didn't know Junko at all. They would prey on young female students pretty often. Hiroshi Miyano, who supposedly ordered the capture and torture, was sentenced to 20 years in prison, which is the highest sentence in Japan after life in prison and the death penalty. Nobuharu Minato, now known as Shinji Minato, was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Joe Agura was sentenced to around 8 years in prison, and Yasushi Watanabe was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Unfortunately, many other boys involved in the case in which their names were not published did not face any consequences. Since they were teenagers at the time of the crime, their youth was linked to their light sentences, though it is widely believed that their connections to the Yakuza also had something to do with it. This often leads to question as to what are these 4 criminals up to nowadays? What happened after all the atrocities were committed? I'm here to shine a little more light onto that question. Beginning with Hiroshi Miyano, who had the longest sentence. He since changed his last name to Yokoyama. Even just typing either of his names into Google, the Junko Furuta case immediately appears. So he changed his name pretty much for nothing. The criminal mastermind of the crime was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Hiroshi reportedly has a brain tumor in his frontal lobe, possibly linked to psychopathic tendencies. It didn't come as much of a surprise when this was discovered at the trial after his brain scans were conducted. This part of the brain is involved with self-control and judgment. Brain abnormalities are not uncommon in psychopaths. Once Hiroshi was locked away in prison, his family sold their home, and Hiroshi's mother allegedly sent Furuta's parents 50 million yen, which is around 400,000 in US currency. After his release in 2009, he managed to secure a wire fraud job, supposedly because of his prior gang affiliations and connections. But then he was arrested for it in 2013, because there was many reports that he was receiving a lot of money from this wire fraud job. Once he was arrested, he apparently remained silent and unwavering during interrogations, and was released due to a lack of evidence. He also got pretty active with judo and kickboxing, and went by other small aliases to hide his identity. It wasn't just in the gym. Hiroshi would have his friends call him K in private, and would even have his name as K in matches. He even wrote his name simply as K on his resume. Is it even legal to do that? Anyway, from what it seems, Hiroshi is still trying to escape his past crimes, staying under the radar and such, while at the same time living a con man lifestyle that's bound to catch up to him. Doing his best to hide his identity, considering a single Google search will bring up what you did to Junko, but in reality, he will never be able to escape the things that he's done, and the people over at 4chan won't allow that to happen either. Moving on to the next boy, we have Joe Agura, now Joe Kamasaku. In court, it was revealed that Agura's father started saving money for compensation to Junko's parents, despite Junko's parents' refusal to accept it. Joe Kamasaku was released in August 1999, where he supposedly was married and then divorced. He reportedly became involved in the gang life once again. He learned some IT skills in prison, but was fired from his job once people found out about his involvement in Junko's murder. But what's weird to me is that the fact that he was adopted by a supporter after being released from prison in 1999. Yes, these clowns had supporters, so he took the family name Kamisaku after he was adopted. In May 2004, at age 31, Kamisaku was arrested for the attack and abduction of a man who was supposedly involved with his girlfriend at the time. During the attack, Joe Kamisaku boasted that he had already unalived someone before and that he knew how to coerce the police and the prosecutor. He was given a 4-year sentence and was released again in 2009. Many reports also state that Kamisaku's mother vandalized Junko's grave because, quote, she ruined her son's life, which is just a horrible thing to do. Kamisaku's father's savings, originally meant for Junko's parents, had been consumed for luxury items instead. The money had been used by Kamisaku. Kamisaku had bragged about torturing, R-wording, and unaliving Junko Furuta in front of other criminals that he knew, and claims that he learned how to deceive the police and could get out of the prison if he ever found himself there again. The victim and Kamisaku also reportedly lived in the same apartment. A man who has no remorse for what he's done in his past and continues to brag and boast about the things that he's done. Moving on to the next criminal, we have Yasushi Watanabe, who served an indefinite 7-year prison sentence for his involvement. He was released in 1996 and hasn't reportedly committed any other crimes that we know of. Yasushi Watanabe became one of Japan's hikikomori, which are shut-ins who completely isolate themselves from society. Those who are called hikikomori often suffer from severe social withdrawal and a total withdrawal from society, doing their best to separate themselves as much as possible. This is considered a very unhealthy means of living, going on for months and even years without social interaction, and I couldn't gather too much information on him after that. Needless to say, Watanabe has stayed under the radar for many years with no reported crimes under his name. Moving on to the next criminal is Shinji Minato, who was previously named Nobuharu Minato. What's interesting about Shinji is that he has an active Twitter account, or X, whatever. Yet he doesn't have very many fans on there. Because his parents supposedly had ties to powerful groups, they did their best to protect his public reputation at the time of the crime. They owned a newspaper company that would misconstrue the case and even try to put the blame on Junko. But nowadays, he tweets very frequently about news events, Japanese and worldwide, such as NATO, Bill Gates, and the Japanese Constitution, but also conspiracy theories and things of that nature. But when people comment about Junko, he simply ignores them. I don't know how, since all of his comments are about Junko. He receives constant hate on a daily basis. He also had a phase where he was posting weird photos of his feet and complaining about his feet pain. Like, a lot of posts were showing his feet, so there's gotta be a kink going on. On August 19th, 2018, Minato repeatedly beat a man with a baton and stabbed his neck with a knife. This took place in Saitama City, and he was arrested for it and put on probation. Looking at his Twitter posts, he's a very paranoid and unhinged man, scared that government agents are trying to get him. And he's a strong believer in all types of conspiracies. In a deleted tweet that was found through the Wayback Machine, he states that he's a grown man now and he's matured from his youth, and that he recognizes the bad things that he's done. I'm not sure if he's asking for sympathy, but no one cares. In another post, he even calls it a shameful incident. A shameful incident. The fact that he's trying to victimize himself is just insane. Shinji Minato also has an abandoned YouTube channel that he's mentioned on his Twitter account before. I did see the YouTube page, but there's really not much worth mentioning on there. Safe to say he's just an old miserable Twitter addict who's obsessed with conspiracies, and he has tons of feet pics on his Twitter and he gets constant hate. He's just an absolute germ of a human. But yeah, that's all there really is to say about Shinji Minato for right now. There were dozens of boys who were involved in the disgusting acts against Junko Furuta. Needless to say, the unforgivable things that they've done to Junko will continue to haunt them forever, while people around the world continue to demand justice for her. It has been more than 3 decades since the unfortunate incident which resulted in the loss of Junko's life. People still remember Junko as the kind, bright, and gifted girl that she was.
all that I really wanted to say before.
Well, not much fan mail, as it is a little something from the Virginia Library of Congress.
What do you know? All the trolls have been lying after all. They have no registration. Read it and weep.
On November 12th, 2009, Chris Chan gleefully showed off a certificate of copyright registration for his Sonichu character.
This will be scanned and uploaded to the Wikipedia today. So, Bill finger to you, you damn trolling bastards. You can rot in hell, Clyde. And you too, Chris.
With certificate in hand, Chris pursued business opportunities for the Sonichu brand. He uploaded a video to YouTube, hoping to attract potential investors.
Hello there, business people. Welcome to the world of Quickville, Virginia, and the world of Sonichu and Rosechu. Anyway, I'm here today to talk to you about the revolutionary little character that will make a lot of money because he's already been there and famous for almost 10 years now. His name is Sonichu. The little real electric hedgehog Pokemon right here. It originally came to me because for a computer graphics class back in high school, I had to create a CD cover for a CD that was not to be sold anywhere, but anyway. Sonichu was also previously featured in May 2004 in this issue that's in the Power magazine, in the Crossing Quarterly, with a submission from my Animal Crossing game for Nintendo GameCube. And shortly after that, it was featured in a newsletter at the local Piedmont Virginia Community College, among other published things. Also, when the website was originally just CWC Sonichu Style, I had my own newsletters that lasted a short while. But anyway, this Sonichu franchise, it has big number of fans. I even have a number of fan submissions. Like, this here is a piece of fan art that came from a girl I knew in Australia, and that's a postcard sent from her right there. This one's just a fan letter from a Julie in Ohio. Yeah, we can definitely franchise in all this, you know. Even ideas of a Pokemon Lightning version where players can catch Sonichu and Rosechu in the wild, even breed them to make the other individual Electric Hedgehog characters that have been portrayed in the book, such as Wild, Bubbles, Angelica, Punchy, and Magic-Chan. We could definitely branch out. And the very profitable thing, both between Nintendo and Sega, and also with Sony, also possibly with Sony, with the animated show that maybe Cartoon Network and their people can help me out on. When that TV show gets run, where I will be the director, and I will be voicing myself as Sonichu. Listen to the difference. Okay, this is me, Christian Weston Chandler, and this will be Sonichu. Hey, Rosechu, let's go out and do some guys' stream. We got some bad guys to defeat. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Fun.
To demonstrate his enthusiasm for Sonichu, Chris showed off his free-running abilities.
Hello there, fans. This is Christian Chandler here live at the Downtown Mall, where for the Sonichu franchise in the state of Quickville and everything like that, I'm going to do a parquet from this point all the way down to the parking garage, where at the end we will get a nice view of the tent-style theater that's down there at Spencer Hill.
Over the next 3.5 minutes, Chris jogs roughly 530 meters. He pauses frequently to catch his breath. No actual parkour is featured in the video.
I think that's just based.
Amphitheater.
Who's next?
Thank you for your continued support.
By the end of 2009, the most comprehensive collection of information pertaining to Chris was the Quickie. Chris often made his own edits to the Quickie to remove anything he deemed offensive or inaccurate. At some point in May, the sysop, known as CogsDev, grew tired of dealing with Chris's vandalism and set up a second, similar website called the Wikipedia. Unlike the Quickie, Chris would be the sole editor, allowing him to speak his truth, unabated by trolls. On November 23rd, Chris noticed 2 questionable ads on the Wikipedia. He was disgusted by what he saw and complained to the sysop. Cogs informed him that the ad space was bought by one of his trolls, Jack Thaddeus. Chris emailed Jack demanding that the ads be replaced. Around this time, Chris began answering fan mail through a new Wikipedia page titled Mailbag. One recurring topic of contention between Chris and his fans was the validity of Asperger's syndrome. After receiving many emails on the topic, Chris decided to make a page for Asperger's on the Wikipedia. Asperger's is nothing at all like autism. I've stated this fact over and over again in my replies to messages from people who tell me otherwise. I feel very sick and tired of hearing that false rumour that the two are anything to fall similar. I have fought long and hard to make a stand for autistic people. I will most certainly not let these imposters steal the true original title of autistic from any of us. Victory over autism belongs only to us true autistic people. On December 6th, Jack Thaddeus called Chris to berate him over his stance on Asperger's.
You think that people with Asperger's are trying to take the quote-unquote limelight away from you people with autism. That's like saying that people with cancer are trying to take the limelight away from people with AIDS.
Yep, they are.
Although you'd probably like that, considering you hate the hum mouse. Anyways, God, parkour. You seem to really not understand parkour. What is parkour?
Parkour, to my interpretation, being the style of running from one point to another, yes, with jumps.
Well, yeah, you got when you had the jumping on walls and shit. But then again, what you said you were doing was parquet. Now that's hilarious because parquet is a brand of butter, and you're like butter, and that you're a fat piece of shit.
I could be healthier.
Yeah, you could be healthier if your fucking blood wasn't made of gravy.
My blood's not made of gravy.
Then why do you have to take 4 fucking breaks in the video just running for 10 minutes? I can run for 10 minutes without a break. You know, faster than you did.
Alright.
Trials and advertisements make you... And trials and adversities make you stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm pissed, Chris, because I know what you're doing. You're not even listening. I remember when you did this with Clyde. You just sit there and just like go, yeah. Do I do a good impression of you? I think I do.
Whatever.
Remember when I tried to get you to go to Redmond? You didn't go because you don't give a shit about Sanchu.
No, I didn't go because I thought it was a trap. My mom thought it was a trap. My dad thought it was a trap.
You know what? My parents threw me out when I turned 18. You know why they threw me out?
Probably because they couldn't stand you.
Oh, that earns you 2 more gay ads.
Alright. Any other thoughts?
Alright. You're fat.
Okay, I guess we're done here?
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay. Take care. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, fatty fat.
Chris's hatred of Asperger's inspired a parody of Sonichu, known as Asperchu, the world's first electric Asperger's-type Pokemon.
Yep.
The comic was created by a troll known as Alec Benson Leary. Asperchu's design was based heavily on Chris himself. To get Chris's attention, Alec emailed him an image of Asperchu, embracing Sonichu in brotherly love. Chris responded in his next mailbag. I apologise for putting your letter into the reject page, but I felt it necessary because 1. You are obviously a troll from what you've typed, and 2. Your drawing infers homosexuality, and I do not care for that goddamn lifestyle, or whatever word is used to describe it. On December 7th, Chris finally finished Sonichu issue 9. It took him nearly a year to complete. Episode 19 revolves around a dating education class, taught by Sarah Jackson. Our main characters are paired up and instructed to converse with each other anonymously over instant message. Ivy shows no interest in her partner, as she is destined to marry Chris. Reginald has a crush on Layla, but she's matched with Punchy. Out of jealousy, he cuts Punchy's computer cable to prevent him from communicating, but this backfires when Punchy asks Layla out on a date. Punchy and Layla meet for their date at McDonald's. Reginald becomes depressed, but Angelica shows up and listens to his story. Out of pity, she invites him to dinner. The next day, they learn that their teacher has died in an automobile accident.
What?
At the end of the episode, Chris attached an actual dating education exam. In episode 20, Sonichu admires Rosechew while she does the laundry. Sonichu explains that while he respects his gay fans, he's upset that many see him as a gay icon. Rosechew offers him sex as a way to relieve his stress, but they are interrupted by a sudden attack on Quickville by the private villa of corrupted citizens. Hedgehogs everywhere scramble to defend the city from invading jerk-ops, while the acting mayor of Quickville, Allison Amber, calls in a team of Power Rangers and Samurai Pizza Bots. Magi-chan is attacked by Sylvana, and he offers to change her gender back to 100% female. She declines, and a battle commences. Chris's car shows up and transforms into Sonichu. Sonichu is ambushed by IVA Chandler, but easily defeats him. Rosechew is kidnapped by Robotnik, Reldnak, and Giovanni. Bionic the Hedgehog blindsides Giovanni with a basketball, allowing Sonichu to escape with Rosechew. Reldnak uses the Kifi Meimo Bobo wave, but Bionic reflects the attack, causing Reldnak to be hit by his own curse of embarrassment. He involuntarily defecates before teleporting away in shame. Sonichu heads to the Quickville Mall, while Magi-chan fills him in on a number of events that Chris didn't want to draw, including the tragic death of Ivy. Sonichu finds Mary Lee Walsh waiting for him in the parking lot, and they fight. Sonichu gains the upper hand but allows Mary Lee Walsh to retreat, explaining that only Chris-chan could land the final blow. 1 month later, Wild Sonichu notices an opening in the time void, and with Magi-chan's help, they rescue their master and creator. On December 19th, Clyde Cash uploaded embarrassing images of Chris to an interactive billboard in New York Times Square. Christmas shoppers gazed upward to see pictures of Chris holding up his cup of semen or leaning into Megan Schroeder. Chris discovered Clyde's prank the following day.
Recent pieces come to my attention. Yeah, currently do not believe anything you see on the billboards. Because apparently Clyde Cash has been trying to shank my reputation there with his thing, and any picture he has of me is photoshopped. It's fake. You can tell it's fake.
Jack Thaddeus maintained his barrage of homosexual ads on the Wikipedia. On Christmas Day, Chris unleashed his wrath.
I'm very angry at that Jack Thaddeus. He needs to get away with drinking the Wikipedia down into a hellhole with the ads he put up there. Makes me sick. I think it like that. I know a lot of like that, and I can agree the information. And also, no, I'm a little bit frustrated about that billboard too. That's a lie. Set up by that stupid Clyde Cash. He uses another Photoshop picture of his and puts it on a billboard. Everybody on the internet knows I'm straight. Anyway, I'm more angry at that Jack Thaddeus and those ads. Those ads are going down. They are going down. I'm gonna stay down those homosexual ads. I have to do I can't cope with those freaking ads nowadays. I have to cover the whole section of my computer with a piece of paper, so I don't have to look at those goddamn things. You both think you're so tough. You both think you're so righteous because you're trying to overthrow somebody who hates homosexuals. You know what? I'm okay with associating with homosexuals, but I'm not beyond friendship. I'll be willing to be friends with homosexuals. I even have a gal pal who's a lesbian, and she's a good friend as well. I'm just saying, nothing further with the male homosexuals. So not only would both you, Clyde Cash, and Jack Thaddeus be doing me a favor, but you'd be doing your whole goddamn homosexuality community a favor by committing sin, beating yourselves, and rotting in hell. Okay, well, to most everyone, stay straight and not being swayed in the other direction. That's me.
Jesus Christ.
Alright. Have a good day, most of you. And Jack and Clyde? Yeah. Run hell.
On December 30th, Chris and Jack spoke over the phone, hoping to resolve their disagreements.
I was hoping we could come to a compromise. You can have
Chris.
the ad of the same size, but just underneath the introduction box.
Oh, right below that is a bunch of clutter crap. I don't want my ad being put down there just so it can be lost amongst that. Oh, and what's the C into Jack Thaddeus, who is still being an annoying son of a... Did that say bitch? Okay, yeah. It's real nice being, insulting your benefactor. Hello? Chris, what are you doing? Chris! Should we call him back? I don't know what happened. Emery?
He was still on.
What?
He was still connected.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there. God damn it, Blue Spike.
On January 1st, 2010, Chris uploaded his own ads to the Wikipedia, hoping to dilute Jack's gay ads. Within 24 hours, the website was shut down, apparently due to a cease and desist notice from the Coca-Cola company.
Okay, well currently the Wikipedia is down on account of a mistake I made with the Coca-Cola ads. I thought free advertisement was okay, but it turns out I was wrong. But anyway, I put the majority of the ads on there because number one of the mislabelings, and I'm sick and tired of those. I'm straight, goddammit.
The Wikipedia reopened shortly afterwards. However, on January 7th, the homosexual ads were replaced with advertisements for Aspertube. Alec Benson Leary created his own Wikipedia-style website for his original character, called the Asperpedia. On January 9th, Chris reached his tipping point.
Well, on the one hand, I am pleased to announce that I have finally got through the homosexuals' thick skulls that I am straight and I do not care for their kind. On the other hand, it backfired on me because Alex something paid off Jack Thaddeus for the ad space, and now is wrongfully advertising his fan fiction, and I emphasize fact fiction and parodic Aspertube. Anyway, his character not only is a parody and vulgar fan fiction of my Sonichu character, but he plays off of my past Buddha belly and my masculine bosoms. So at this moment, I will leave you with that. Down with Alec and his freaking Aspertube. Little son of a bitch think he'd try to fight me off. He got another thing coming. Beep, you son of a bitch. Alec. Beep. Aspertube is not mine. I am sick and tired of being misassociated with him. He is not mine, and I would never care to associate with him because he is a bunch of crap. He just looks like a parody of me with a Buddha belly and exaggerated man boobs. I mean, I would have preferred Jack Thaddeus back at this point.
On January 15th, Chris used subliminal messaging to influence his viewers' perception of Aspertube.
I am reminded of an old Spanish expression which goes simply as "Tú necesitas ucrepsa eta y usino se va per ganar felicidad por vida."
Exactly.
A couple of strong verbs in that statement. Say it with me. Ucrepsa eta. Ucrepsa eta. Y usinos iva. Usinos iva. Alright. Stay safe and have a good day. Bye.
Chris despised Aspertube with such ferocity that he downloaded the entire comic series onto his PS3, thoroughly studied it, and offered some negative critique.
First off, just to name a few things, there are the obvious slanders and obvious references, to which I mean the old Buddha belly that I used to have, exaggerated man boobs, and even the goatee I used to have. I had one time, and he makes his Aspertube character wear nearly every shirt I wear. nearly every shirt. And then even worse, starting on page C29, he sets me on fire. He sets me on fire. And he uses uncensored swear words such as shit and ass in between all of his books. So many goddamn of those. And his A and B books are anti-religious. And I'm definitely gonna let my pastor know about the Asperpedia and the Asperchew, and to all to her powers within her church and the congregation, and even the FBI. We will see you in Minnesota and take you down personally, Mr. Alec Benson Larry.
On January 22nd, Alec Benson Leary called Chris to sort out their differences.
Yes, this is Christian. May I help you?
Hi, Chris. This is Alec Benson Leary. Is it okay if we talk?
Oh, yes. Sure, yes.
Okay,
So,
good. Well, I understand you've got a problem with the ads that are on Wikipedia.
yeah. I'll let you have your ads on the Wikipedia, but don't make them too big, and leave them in the sidebar.
Yeah, my friend Mao, he actually makes the ads for me. I didn't make them myself, but I can try to talk to him about that.
I would appreciate that.
I saw a couple of videos where you actually threatened me with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take that back as well. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You did take my sideshoe, and made him claim him to be the original one. And even worse, you made him brother to Asperchew, and with the homosexual tendencies and whatnot. Even aside from the original sideshoe.
Asperchew has a girlfriend, Dixie Chew.
No, actually, I read further in the book, and Dixie Chew dumped his ass.
Well, she doesn't mean that. They're destined to be together, Chris. I mean, can't you see those undertones? I mean, that's where this whole comic is going. I mean, even if a girl does dump him, what does it matter? He went after a girl. He didn't go after a boy. Even if he was gay, why would he go for his brother? That's just sick.
Okay, well, okay. All right, but still, it just makes it sound like my characters when you talk about these sideshoe from Quickville.
But they're not your characters. We've established that. They're not yours. I mean, they're my characters.
I have
it's original.
Sonic Shoe and Rose Shoe. I actually have paper registered copyrights on those. So I could sue you. But I'm trying to resolve this peacefully.
But you said Sonichu is a Pokemon, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure Nintendo has the copyright claims of Pokemon.
The Virginia Library of Congress has allowed me...
Well, Virginia Library of Congress can't tell Nintendo to just hand over copyrights to their creations to just anybody. I mean, Nintendo could take, the Virginia Library of Congress to court and say, hey, wait a minute, you issued this copyright illegal.
Okay, this is what we're talking about right now. It just seems pointless to what we were originally talking about.
I don't think it's pointless. I mean, you said you could sue me. I mean, I don't want to get sued. Nobody wants to get sued.
Yeah,
but I just don't understand how you could sue me. That's what I'm confused on. I mean, you're confusing me, Chris.
Look, let's just rewind and go back to what we agreed on before.
Chris continued to answer his mailbag throughout January. He occasionally received messages from Evan Christopher George, the troll responsible for sending Chris explicit fan art back in 2007. Evan created his own Sonichu character, called Simon Chew. Chris apparently liked the character, and created his own female hedgehog, named Simola, heavily inspired by Simon Chew. Evan accused Chris of copying his character, and demanded that he kill off Simola. Alec and Chris spoke again 1 week later.
Asperchew is not a Sonichu.
Yeah, okay, but still think about this. You gave him the condition of Asperger's. Try putting yourself in the shoes of your Asperchew. You would not want a name that emphasizes the mental condition. What if your parents had named you Asper?
Well, Chris, we don't choose our names. I mean, think of it this way. The name Asperchew, if you think of that as a detriment, I don't, but if you interpret the comic that way, think of it as a personal a sort of character flaw, if you will. And he has to work to overcome those. That's part of what makes a good character. I mean, you wouldn't make a character that's just, all powerful and perfect in every way and has no real problems ever, would you? That'd be kind of boring.
I mean, as an individual, within his own world, Asperger would not want that name and probably want to change his name to something like Mitch. Have you ever watched the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes, I have. It was a good movie.
Yeah, you got this whole toon world there. Within that world actually would reside your Asperger, but he would be with his individual thoughts, and she gave him an adult attitude. Within his individual thoughts, he would hate that having the name of Asperger because it emphasizes his mental problem.
Okay, but Chris, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that was still a movie, and everything in it was predetermined by the movie writers and the director. And I mean, there is no alternate cartoon world in reality. I mean, cartoon characters don't actually think and feel things.
You obviously are naive about that because you're not understanding that possibility about universe actually existing.
So you do believe that when an artist creates a cartoon character, that character actually becomes real? Is that what you're saying to me?
What if she was on the other foot? What if Asperger created you?
Well, then I'd be a comic character myself, and I wouldn't have any thoughts or feelings. So that's a moot point.
You think that comic character would not have their own thoughts and feelings?
No.
They are naive.
Chris, you have told me that you think that a comic character is fundamentally as much of a person as a real human being. That is the naive thought. I almost forgot to mention that. Evan wanted me to talk to you about using Simon Chew. Simon Chew was his creation, and he used that without permission. And he's asked you several times to get rid of Simon Chew and Simonla or whatever.
Well, actually, Simonla was never really inspired from Simon Chew. I took an original Rose Chew, I changed her to a ground color, added an armadillo shell, and then a few drills in appropriate faces.
So kind of like how I took a Sonic and made him yellow and gave him a goatee and glasses and a Buddha belly, and thus was born Asperchew. Let's see, I'm looking at the Simonla page on your Wikipedia here. I'll just read what it says here. About on or before August 26, 2008, I received an email from Evan George submitting his Sonic Chew fan art to me, then later submitted his idea for Simon Chew. It did not strike me as good at first, but for a few months I wanted to create a ground type. So from Simon Chew, I created Simonla Rose Chew. That's on the Simonla article on your Wikipedia. I mean, that's smoking gun, Chris. That's proof.
On January 30th, Chris apologized to Alec for his past behavior.
January 25th or 26th. Captain's log. I'm making this video because I want to apologize to Alec for having said the things I said before and the threats, and want to make amends and peace, and I would appreciate it if the Astropedia ads were no longer on the Wikipedia. Seriously. I asked multiple times to shrink them down, put them in the sidebar. I have not seen shrinkage. I have to scroll down to even see anything on the Wikipedia, to log in, to make edits, and it's very annoying and frustrating.
Alec was unconvinced by Chris's apology.
Okay, well I think I'd like you to make a better apology video. And in your second apology video, I want you to not spend 80% of the video making demands of me.
I admit that I have done wrong to you, Alec. I'm with mislabeling and giving you death threats, and I apologize.
Mislabeling is kind of like what a troll would do, isn't that right? Is there anyone close to me, a friend perhaps, that maybe you've mislabeled as well?
Let me guess, Evan.
You got it right. You have wronged Evan. I think personally, I am most offended by your accusations of me stealing your Sonic Chew when all along you had been stealing Simon Chew from someone else. Why is parody and plagiarism, why are those concepts okay for you to do, but they're not okay for anyone else to do?
Okay, I guess I cannot think of a good answer for that.
Yeah, that's because there really isn't one. You understand that, right? The same rules have to apply to everyone. You need to atone for your mistakes.
Sheesh!
I would like to take this moment to apologize to Mr. Alec Benson Larry for the curses and death threats and mislabelings I have placed upon him. Asperchu is Alec Benson's Larry character. Alec Benson's... Try saying that 3 times fast with plurals. Asperchu is Alec Benson Larry's own creation, not mine. Anyway, along with that, I also would like to apologize to Evan for offending him and by taking false claim of his Simon Chu character, and I'm happy to give that back to him. And I retract all ownership of the Simon Chu character. You!
After apologising to Alec and Evan, Chris set his sights on Mao, the one responsible for many of the Wikipedia ads.
Addressed to Mr. Mao of the Asperpedia. Take down the ads, or prematurely rot.
Alec was displeased with the cursing of his friend Mao.
I don't really like going through this, night after night with you, Chris. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you these things over and over. You tell a kid things over and over. And
Yep.
well, apparently you made a video right before I talked to you, cursing Mao. I mean, I don't think I specifically mentioned Mao when I talked to you, but I think you should have been able to infer that I don't want you cursing him either. He put a bunch of things on my Wikipedia yesterday. I used to kind of sympathize with you about how Mao was being mean to you, but then I realized that you're a bully and you don't respond to anything except, mean things like that.
No, you misunderstand me. I am not a bully.
Death threats, that's not
I am not a bully.
You are a troll, though. That's for certain.
I am not a troll.
Oh, bullshit.
Apologize.
Ever since Asperchu appeared, you've been doing nothing but trying to shut me down. Just like the trolls that try to shut you down. But the great Christian Weston Chandler, he's perfect. Nobody can attack him or parody him, but if someone else does something that he doesn't like, doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with him.
Got a PC, but it ain't working? What?
Excuse me a moment.
FJ, huh?
Yeah. Hey.
Sheesh.
Oh, okay, Mom.
Chick got slugged out.
My mom's telling me to go
Yo, how are
take
you,
too.
bro?
I gotta go, so,
You go ahead. I know letting the
Actually,
cat
I'm
out is
turn
probably
this-
going to be hard work and it's going to make you want to sleep because I know your biological clock is all whacked out from all your stress.
During their next call, Alec made a long list of demands. If Chris was willing to meet all of them, Alec would remove his ads from the Wikipedia. Chris addressed some of the demands during his next video.
We're gonna get to 25 Pokemon, and then
Alec has a sizable fan base, possibly greater than mine.
we're gonna have to
And,
get.
here's a forgiveness blessing. Forgiveness blessing. There you go. That was another apology I made to him earlier about the
Shit, you just
London.
wasted 100.
Oh, and
Where do you
one
get
more
it
thing.
from?
I admit that I trolled Alec.
Do you
in
get it
event
from a
that I was
shop?
trolled Before, and I apologize for that. I didn't want to leave that detail out. Trolled Alec, and I apologize for that. And I will not troll him anymore.
On February 8th, the Wikipedia was wiped clean and replaced with a link to the Asperpedia. Chris placed the blame on the so-called Asperpedia 4, a group of individuals involved with Asperchu that had wronged him in one way or another.
As much as it is to my dismay, I have to point out, but you can thank Alec, Evan, Sean, and Mao on the Asperpedia. They took down my own Wikipedia. They even prohibited me from being able to make any updates. Because, god dang, Evan. If I could go back to before November 2007, I would have never viewed that damn ED page. And then I would have never had to deal with you damn dirty trolls. Blame those on the Asperpedia, those 4. Because they have done the wrongest. They took away that which inspired their own comic pages. They destroyed what was undestroyable, but can be rebuilt. I would have him in a psychic link within my psychic powers, frozen in...
Wait, check if it has 2 HDMI ports. Because if it has 2 HDMI ports, make sure it's running through the graphics card. Not through the motherboard. Um.
Time. And then I would put him in the jail cell. I would have them executed. And I don't care what they think or what they say. This is my stand against you for... rot. In... hell!
By February 12th, the Wikipedia was fully revived, but the unwanted ads continued. On the 18th, Chris asked Alec to call him again.
Do you remember how
It only has 2 display ports.
Requirements exactly?
Yeah, then try the different display port. And make sure, if you're using the display port to HDMI, make sure the actual thing works. Because a lot of those things tend to not work. Or they take in, like, a lower resolution.
I wouldn't remove the ads, but if you fail to meet my requirements, the ads will get worse. So you failed to meet my requirements. How many times was I gracious enough to give you an extremely easy way out of all of this? You slandered and smeared me as much as you possibly could. You put all of your effort, it seemed, into trashing me rather than building up your own comic.
I have been working on my comic for your information. I'm about halfway colored through all those pages which I drew.
Isn't turning on? Did you see it run a game? Like, I wouldn't have bought a PC unless it, like, ran games. And, like, I'd stress test it. Give it a full stress test.
Like over 30 now.
You know?
All the main pages in a bundle on my birthday.
When's your birthday? Like 8 days from now?
My birthday is on the 24th of February.
My mistake. So 6 days. I'm sorry, I didn't know when your birthday was.
Well, it's typically stated on the on my
Yeah, you
page,
did.
on the Wikipedia,
It's weird.
and in a couple other places.
Hey Chris,
1982.
Chris, when is my birthday?
I don't know. I did not study
Do you,
the biology.
make sure you have it plugged into an outlet, not an extension
Why didn't you
cable.
know it?
Well, I did not make
I mean,
an
if
effort
I'm
to tell
supposed to know
you
your
because-
birthday, don't you know mine? Chris, I'm kind of hurt.
Okay, well, I apologize for that. And after we're done here, I'll go to your bio page and learn, put in my mind when your birthday is.
I'd rather you work on pages than go look up info about me. What do you think of Sonic Revolution, by the way? Have you been reading it?
It might be the power supply. If the power supply, if the power supply blew out, then you're risking like everything being destroyed.
Whatever other media have you seen where
That's just-
characters die? Do you think they're all bad?
Yeah, but yeah, they are bad. And plus, they're like, doing such a gory way. It's just terrifying. It's like any of the Sonic
Also, it's
movies.
plugged into the wall.
Do you
Okay,
like those
good.
movies, Chris? The Sonic
Good.
movies?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, I enjoyed the.
You like them? How could you like?
'Cause you need, like,
Yeah,
You don't
that's
need,
Hollywood
but
magic, you know, that's,
some power supplies won't work.
people that acted in those movies are still.
Just because it'd be like a cheap wire or something.
Oh, right. I forgot because comic characters are real people, and apparently I'm guilty of multiple homicide now.
I have a
Sheesh!
question for you. You said you like Sonic Shoe. Why did you make it? Why
You
did
say you
draw
like
him
Sonic
first himself?
Chew.
I didn't draw Sonichu games up. I said Sonchu. Your car, your. I don't want to say Autobot because it's trademark, but.
Okay, well, excuse me. Well, I misunderstood. You had
Gotta
it
go.
right, and kind of
Yeah,
characters
man,
were
look into
trademarked.
that real quick.
Anybody else who
I'd
likes us, who says
that'd be your
outside my
biggest look. Best of
jurisdiction,
luck with your PC, man.
there's a whole bunch of bogus
Hit me
stuff.
up when you're
the whole point of Sonic
when you're
Chew
free,
Revolution
definitely.
is to make up for your lack of updates. You're not drawing anything, or you say you are, but we have.
I have realized things like I have errands to run. Like I even shoveled snow to get the cars out. I clean the big kitchen. I vacuum. I move stuff around. I clean the bathroom as well. I do a lot of things around the house.
You kind of sound like you're talking to someone who has not seen that video tour of your house right now, and I want to let
Will
you know
do.
that I actually
No
have
problem,
seen it.
bro.
So I'm pretty sure that house is not. Chris, can you hear me?
Chris begins mashing random buttons on his phone before hanging up. Alec calls him back.
Hey, Chris, did we get disconnected there?
Yeah, afraid we did. Reception goes bad during this time of night.
The conversation shifts towards Chris's views on homosexuality.
So you're saying gay people go to hell?
Yeah.
You're a Christian then? If
Yeah.
you believe that? You know what else the Bible condemns? Black magic.
So?
How many times have you tried to curse people? Cursing is black magic. Curse ye ha me ha. So you're going to hell, right?
Well, I'm making a tons for that.
Are you really? I asked you to give Mao a forgiveness blessing, and that was the most lackluster one I've ever seen you do.
I'm getting an incoming call right now, and
well,
it's like
you should probably ignore.
conversation.
Do you believe that black magic works, Chris?
There's a chance that it can, but
Not if you're Christian, because the Christian God says that all magic and supernatural stuff that doesn't come from God is false.
I have no comment to that.
Chris,
Okay,
why do you not put effort into anything?
I do put effort in everything.
Everything? No. I told you that your website was going to get taken down because of a lawsuit over a stolen character, and you did nothing.
I'm getting tired of this. You're raising your voice at me. I don't appreciate it.
No, appreciate
Raising
it.
their voice, that really is enough to just, completely discombobulate you. Besides, you yelled at me first.
You were being ridiculing to me.
You're being
Is that the pot
ridiculed.
calling the kettle black? I want to understand why it is okay for you to do so many things to other people, but you get mad when they do it back to you.
Savage.
Why is it that any tiny level of stress or inconvenience, and you immediately will fall back on, you're being attacked, or you're being, your world.
It just happens, especially
No,
when I'm tired.
that's not an excuse. That's an excuse that a child
That
uses.
just happens, especially when I'm
Okay, well, I'm
tired.
just tired right now.
Okay, well, I'm just
Probably,
tired right
I'll
now.
finish this up while I wrap this up as well. But,
He is
yeah, but
Such a
I'm
fucking
running-
child.
Chris.
I'm not running away from you. I'm right
King
here.
of Phatism.
I know you're not literally running away, but you're trying to end the conversation because I'm making you feel bad. Any little bit of stress, and you run for the hills. Even in cases where dealing with a small problem now will avert a very big problem later. Bad news is going to happen, Chris. Life is not all fun and games.
Well, I'm sure that happened to you, and you actually had to do that as well.
Yeah, but then I turned 10 and I started learning to get over it.
On February 23rd, Chris made a special announcement.
Good morning. In less than an hour, Sonic fans from here will join others from around the world, as you will be witnessing the largest personal change in the history of mankind. Mankind. That word should have new meaning for us all today. We cannot be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it is fate that today is Mexico's Flag Day. We are fighting for our rights to love, to be honest. And when the sun sets today,
To let
the
true
24th of February
us.
will no longer be known as only a Mexican holiday, but as today Sanchi fans declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight.
HM1.
We are going to live on. We are going to survive. To celebrate today, we celebrate our Christian Love Day.
On February 25th, Chris completed the final pages of Sonichu issue 10. We begin where we left off, with Chris exiting the Time Void. Chris reveals that he travelled to the year 2015 and met Lovely Weather, his future wife. She mistook the younger Chris for his older self, and they had sex, which was awesome. Chris took part in a medical study, with the aim of curing homosexuality. Using its untainted, straight blood, a homosexual vaccine was created. After taking the vaccine himself, Chris brought 2 syringes back with him to cure Natesurk. In the present day, Chris meets Lovely Weather, and they go out on a date. They're attacked by Natesurk, and Chris injects him with the vaccine, turning him straight. Chris and the other hedgehogs head to the 4-cent garbage building to execute his plan. Chris picks up his Guitar Hero controller and transforms into his actual self. Christian and the Hedgehog Boys put on a concert that rocks so hard it shakes the foundation of the nearby headquarters. Inside the building, Clyde Cash, Jack Thaddeus, Jason Kendrick Howe, and the Devil himself realize that the building can't withstand Chris's furious shredding. The Devil and Jason escape, leaving Jack and Clyde to fend for themselves. The two express regret for trolling Chris and decide to commit by jumping to their deaths while holding hands. The building
Based.
crumbles and Chris tries a single
Based.
for the victims of his own
Based.
terrorism. Chris and Sonichu use the 7 Sonichu crystals to transform into Colossal Christian and Ultra Sonichu. They travel to Alec Benson Leary's home in Minnesota. Chris inserts his finger into a USB port, allowing him to delete Asperpedia using his mind. Ultra Sonichu finds Asperchu and Alec's other cartoon characters in the backyard. Ultra Sonichu cures them of Asperger's. Asperchu gets a completely new look and names himself Mitch. Chris arrives in the backyard and all the Sonichu bow down before him. Alec Benson Leary returns home and his previously enslaved Sonichu characters beat him up off screen. Chris devotes an entire page to explain that Alec Benson Leary's characters are just a parody, and anything that happens outside of Chris's own comic is not canon. Ultra Sonichu flies to the PVCC and uses the Sonichu crystals to free all the Jerk-Ops and Mana Jerks. Christian arrives for the final showdown with Mary Lee Walsh. He defeats her with ease after smashing Count Graduon. Chris announces that he has legalized homosexuality, despite recently curing the world of the affliction. During his speech, Simonola goes to the bathroom, leaving Wild Sonichu with her egg. A Voltorb is planted in her stall by Alec Benson Leary, and as she sits on the toilet, the Pokemon explodes, killing her. Simonola's egg hatches shortly afterwards, and Wild Sonichu becomes a single father. He names his daughter Sandy. The killers are caught, and a trial is held 1 week later. Alec, Evan, Mao, and Sean are charged with murder, plagiarism, and mockery. The jury sentences the Asperpedia 4 to execution.
Not
Alec is
mockery.
strapped to an electric chair, while Chris and various hedgehogs do the honours. Sandy and Wild torture Evan to death for the murder of Simonola. Chris uses his mind to explode Mao's heart. Unsurprisingly, the Asperpedia 4 weren't happy with their portrayal in Sonichu issue 10. Evan sent Chris an email. "You drilled at my dick! You've wronged me more than you've wronged Alec, and we both know it. You steal from me, and still refuse to admit that Simonola is a rip-off. I am pleased with Simonola's death, but you drilled at my dick! Are you jealous of my penis and the fact that I've received vaginal relations with it?" Later that day, Alec Benson Leary called Chris.
What's up with that trial, Chris? It seemed kind of weird that your comic has suddenly taken a very gory turn.
It's just one time.
But you said violence is wrong, though. One time's...
Yeah, well, you did violence onto me. I was just returning the favor.
Oh, revenge is okay, though? Why are Alec and Mao and me, why are we on trial?
Okay, well, let me see. The copycat of practically everything from my books, set me on fire, chop my head off, false witness, and, oh yeah, how about wanting to kill Simona Rosechew?
Chris, you told me, you swore up and down to me that you understood the point I was trying to get across to you, and that you understood what I meant.
Yeah, I did understand that. At least I would, by your request, and handwrote all the apologies and everything, and killed Simona.
Oh no, you said that me and Mao and Sean and Evan killed Simona. Apparently you didn't fulfill that part of the requirement either. You killed us in your comic. What kind of apology is that?
Yeah, a request of a death of one of my characters comes with a price.
No, Simona was not your character. She was Evan's.
Yeah, but anyway, with all the
Yeah, but anyway? Are you acknowledging that Simona was not yours?
I acknowledge that Simona was not mine. Anyway, the point is Simona is dead now.
Who is Sandy?
Wild and Simona's daughter. Still, Sandy did not originate from Simon Chew.
Evan was mad about Simona, because Simona was just a ripoff of Simon Chew. And it looks like Sandy is a ripoff of Simona, which by corollary makes her a ripoff of Simon Chew as well.
I disagree with that.
You can disagree all you want, doesn't make it true.
Here we go.
Let's change the subject a little bit. What's up with that your Christian Love Day video? Are you really saying that, Mexican Flag Day is no more important than your birthday?
One idea behind Christian Love Day is like the possibility of a second Valentine's Day.
It's like 10 days after the real Valentine's Day. Why would we need another Valentine so soon? You really think you're so important, that you're so saintly and perfect that you think your birthday should be a holiday? Just admit that to me. It's about your ego.
I partially agree with you on that, but it's actually a lot more than just quote-unquote ego.
What more could it be?
I am not sure right now because I cannot come up with the appropriate answer for that.
You shouldn't really be trying to do anything until after you've come up with a logical reason to do it. Why do you think parody is bad when other people do it? I mean, it kind of sounds like if I had drawn you as a perfect, master of the universe like you draw yourself in your comic, then you would have been fine with it, because I would have been kissing your ass in that case.
That would be considerably agreeable right there between us, yeah. It makes you feel better, it makes you feel encouraged.
Makes you feel better? Chris, you're an adult. You really want people to kiss your ass all the time?
I don't like constant abuse, torment and slanders and cursings.
Okay, you don't like slander? Oh, what about all the lies you've told about me? What about, remember a while ago you made a video trying to hypnotize people into hating Asperchew? Remember when you cursed me with the death threats?
And I apologize for that.
No, you're not getting away with that bullshit excuse this time, Chris. Okay? You can't just do horrible things and then offer a fake apology afterwards. That's not what apology is. You claim to be a Christian. Do you really think this is what God wants his children to do?
Sheesh!
I'm sorry, sometimes
He came in with the God line.
I get misunderstood often, and it just really makes me feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm being misunderstood.
The call abruptly ended as Chris hung up mid-sentence. The following day, Chris uploaded a video apologizing to Alec.
It is with heavy hearts, good consent, that I deeply apologize to Alec for the recent portrayal within the comic pages, with the trial and the killing in the electric chair and that.
he reveals a gift he received from Alec Benson Leary.
And I am wearing this medallion that Alec has made, along with my own, because I feel that we can be friends and coincide with each other. And with that, and bit of honor also, I take Alec's medal here. So, and I will place this on the wall thing. It would be secured better after the filming. But the point is made. Thank you very much, and have a safe day.
Have now word, according to the Los Angeles Times is reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
I'm gonna let you finish.
You know what happened?
Is this real life?
Get your hand off my penis!
I'm on a boat, bitch! Zinga.
What the fuck is it with you? I was looking at the lights. It's fucking distracting. Oh, good.
We did this for the show.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle, waddle.
Was when the jump scare there.
Hi, I'm Christian Chandler, and this is Frozen Stalactite. I'm going to put my stick in the snow, and I'm going to leave it in there for about 15 minutes. Currently, it's 12:38 according to my cell phone clock. If there's one clock you cannot change, it's the one on your cell phone. Okay, see y'all in 15 minutes. Alrighty, it's 12:53. Let's pull me out. Yeah. It feels blue.
Feels blue! No!
I dare say there's one stunt you should not try at home. Peace out.
On January 21st, 2010, Chris attended a young adult social group where he met a woman named Heather. She was friendly towards Chris, but made it clear that she wasn't interested in a romantic relationship. On January 25th, Heather emailed Chris, sharing some of her creative writing. The following day, Chris answered another mailbag. He mentioned meeting a lovely woman, and that they were hitting it off like two wallflowers. In late January, Chris invited Heather to a Celtic Women concert. She initially agreed, but after Chris brought up the prospect of a future romance, she decided to attend the concert with her friend instead. Throughout February, Chris visited Heather's home, and the two continued to attend their social club. He displayed a growing interest in Heather's hobbies, such as Celtic music, ghost hunting, and young adult novels. After Heather asked for some personal space, Chris cut down on in-person visits. In a February 14th blog post, Chris mentioned that he had a girlfriend, and said his relationship was progressing. On March 9th, Chris released a custom Little Big Planet level over the PlayStation Network. He credited Heather as a co-creator, using her pen name, Damien Antaria. Using this information, trolls quickly discovered her Facebook profile and sent her a link to the quickie. That night, she learned all about Chris's past behaviours, his disturbing views on women, his leaked nudes, his threats of violence, his homophobia and racism, and his desire for Heather herself. She even discovered her own dedicated article on the quickie. Heather confronted Chris over email. You need to find some way to delete all that information about me on your site, and I'm hurt that you didn't ask permission either. I didn't appreciate that. There's only one place that has my real info, and that's Facebook, and for the last time, I'm not your sweetheart. I never agreed to be your girlfriend or anyone else's. If someone comes after me, it'll be your fault. Delete all that right now, and just for this, we're no longer friends. Chris responded, Listen, the Wikipedia is my one website, not the quickie. That belongs to someone else. I will get in touch with the webmaster who created it and try to get it off of there. I only referenced you by your pen name once. On the Fortaste level, I uploaded. No other time. And I have never referred to us as sweethearts or anything beyond just friends. I swear this with hand on my Bible. Why did I have to become such a goddamned internet celebrity? I shared my Sonichu stories and art, and for a few years now, I've been bullied, tortured, hacked, and such cruel emotional torment from like thousands to millions of cruel people who took my words and photos and warped them around to their own damned mockery. Because of these trolls, I've lost a few friends. They made a page of my old gal pal Megan Schroeder on their Encyclopedia Dramatica Chris Chan page. I also made the worst mistake of an adult drawing between me and her, which was the apex there. She and her family moved to another state, and I lost touch with her long ago. Such a damned mistake. I swore never to repeat, ever again. Heather, please, please, please do not leave me as a companion. You are the sunlight that lifted me up, more than I've been lifted from in the past. I would feel like hardly a shell of my better self. I would be left in the darkness state of loneliness and despair. Even worse, I'd probably hire a prostitute out of desperation.
Hire a prostitute out of desperation. This is Chris Chan and Asperger Chew. So someone made a copy of Sonichu who's made for autistic kids. And it's for Asperger's. Because Chris Chan he hates people with Asperger's because he thinks it's a fake version of autism. Even though it is a type of autism.
That is a fate I do not want to ever feel. Please don't leave me, Heather. As a friend and from my heart, I love you.
This is me with every
Heather
woman.
already made her decision. I don't love you, and I hate you for this. Everything was fine until I met you. I don't know why I took up Mum's offer to go to the social club. I had enough friends here at home and on the internet. Chris blamed the trolls for alienating his non-existent girlfriend.
This message is for the last goddamn troll that has been pestering me for the past number of years, even the recent ones. I have been in a number of moments finding peace and losing it later because you won't let me be. You don't want me to have a little life of my own. You don't want me to find long-lasting peace and happiness for myself. You don't want me to find and hold true love for myself because you are so self-absorbed in yourselves. You only want me to give you more god dang stories and art than I could give because my inspiration comes in and out. It mostly comes in when I'm happy and at peace. You are nothing but goddamn greedy, impatient, unloved, and corrupted fools. Heartbreaks and heartaches, they really hurt. I've let you all done so much, whatever you want.
Yo, is Chris
emotionally
okay?
be, but it's goddamn another story when you try to hurt my friends and get them involved like you've been doing.
Chris was convinced that Clyde Cash was responsible for contacting Heather.
This is what will happen when I'm intercepted by a troll.
Hi, hello, Christian.
Hello?
What's the matter? You don't know me?
No, should I?
It's me, Clyde Cash.
Oh. What the hell do you want, you son of a bitch?
Oh, I just came by to tell you how much of a son of a bitch, lazy yes, bigoted, treacherous rat you are. You son of a bitch!
Damn. Chris Chan got the heater. He got the heater. I'll be back later. I think I gotta make a few phone calls. I'm gonna chill. But I just want to do an hour here, an hour and a bit, chilling. Cause I want to do a big long stream. I might stream for the whole night. And get all the Safari Pokemon. All the Safari Moemon. And then, yeah. I won't get their evolutions or anything yet. I'm only getting every single wild Pokemon right now.
Well, you're pretty dumb. Anyway, now that I
Yeah,
tricked
you'll
you,
probably be
I threw
there.
information to the trolls.
GG. Yo.
In the mail, you should see a pic of
Have you texted your buddy? I hope you can sort that out.
me at the right, and your boyfriend at the left. As the ancient Hawaiians used to say, the coconut is always sweeter on the palm tree you can't reach. He attached an image of Heather with a large Polynesian man. Chris sent her an email warning her about Surfshat Tito. If you ever come into contact with Tito or meet him in real life, do not trust him. I still care for you and your safety and health. Please let me know over the phone or email when you've recovered and we can move forward from this. I do not want to lose our friendship between you and me. And hate is such a strong word. Heather replied.
With what I watched,
now I'm
no
getting pissed off.
problem.
First off,
No
stop
problem.
sending this. I don't want to be reminded of it. Second, I told you I'm not your friend anymore. And thirdly, I have a boyfriend now, so back off and leave me alone. On March 14th, Chris uploaded a video wearing a kilt, inspired by Heather's love of Celtic music.
Tito, listen to me, you son of a bitch. Your days are numbered. I have forwarded your admission to Heather. You are going down, Tito. One way, two ways, or three. Aki laddie, you're not gonna get the lastly today. I kick your ass at Michelele and my ring man.
Chris begs Heather not to leave him.
This message goes out to Damien Antaria, her pen name. Not revealing her real name, all things considered. You know something? You don't need that new boyfriend because I need you. We were very compatible. We had so much in common. I don't see why you had to go and do that. I mean, you weren't even ready for a boyfriend. You told me so yourself multiple times. Expected that for a little while. Hey, you! I don't like your boyfriend. No way, no way.
This is me,
Just give
every
the
girl
new one.
ever.
Hey, you, yeah, I could be your boyfriend.
Post her photo. Holy shit.
Cause I can do it better. There's no water, so where's it gonna sink in? He's so troll and stupid. What the hell were you thinking? That's someone trying to take you out of my life. But you know, I can do it better. He's an imposter. He's a poser. What the hell were you thinking with that damn pickle suit? Come on. Damien and Daria, give me a break. You don't want
Give me a
to
break.
situation where I'm that desperate I got go as far as to pay $100 for a damn hooker. Give me a break.
Yeah, come on.
I'm a 28-year-old high-functioning autistic virgin. I'm gonna hell on my own.
For real. I'm a 28-year-old high-functioning autistic virgin.
Emailing and calling, ignoring her protests.
For real.
In an attempt to get Chris off her back, she played
That's who I
into
am,
his delusion
spiritually,
to Surfshark Tito
at
was
least.
her new boyfriend. This backfired, as Chris became even more concerned for Heather's safety.
Tito, you stay away from Heather, you son of a bitch. You have no right taking her from me like that. You womanizing bitch.
You
And if
mobilizing.
you go near her again, and I will find you.
Dude, he's
'Cause that's
saving
what you deserve,
saving
you
these
goddamn
women.
womanizing, trolling,
Woo!
pickle-suited.
Oblivious to Heather's discomfort, Chris sent her an invitation to a party, along with a gift. LMAO, sorry, I won't be able to make it. Besides, I wouldn't go if you were going to be there, because I don't want to do deal with you. By the way, that letter, don't do that again, ever. I wasn't even impressed with your little gift. I threw it away. Not only that, I was pissed when you said that we had been going out for a month and a half. First of all, I never agreed anything of the sort. Second, I would never date you. You're not my type. Also, if you want me to stay safe, then you would leave me alone from phone,
She doesn't
email,
like
and mail.
tismos.
I don't want to hear from you ever again. Do
She's
you hear me?
sexist.
And who cares if you're a fucking acoustic virgin? I'd rather have my best friend's boyfriend take me first, because I trust him, than you. Besides, I'm asexual, so there's no hope for you, at least from me. Not only that, not even a cheap whore would want your small dick inside her. Neither would I. This was the last known contact between Chris and Heather. On March 18th, Jack Thaddeus pulled his funding from the Wikipedia, and the website was handed over to Mao. He vandalized the site before opening up editing capabilities to the public. The website became unmanageable, prompting Chris to record an update video.
I have noticed that my absence has brought on a bit of chaos on the Wikipedia, and it has gone on
He's an
beyond behind my
acoustic
back.
virgin.
I have been depressed lately because of my girlfriend having left me. I have let the trolls torture me because of my real life stories having been leaked on the internet. But now the chaos is going to be done. I have already won because I have learned so much. I am famous worldwide, and
He
I
is.
own the main copyrights to everything about it. About Sonic Shoe, Rose Shoe, and the city of Quickville and everything therein. I am removing myself from the internet because I've put too much of my personal life online to be ridiculed so much. Let's see how you trolls plan to deal with me when I am not there to be dealt with. I do not need the internet.
4D
Nobody
chess.
needs the internet. They just need to enjoy real
8D
life.
chess.
Go out and socialize. Talk to people. Emails are so yesterday. Going out and finding people to talk to and talking to them face to face is always in. So you can forget the damn Facebook and the MySpace and those other social sites, because the only true social site is all around you. And you don't need a computer to access it. All you have to do is just go outside. See for yourself. And say hello. So I leave you all with those words. And it is not goodbye, but more like see you later. I'm Christian Weston Chandler of Ruckersville, Virginia.
And once we're done this,
Ricardo, original creator of the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon, Sancho and Roschu.
which it's gonna take us a while.
I bid y'all stay safe.
Take us like a week or
Good day.
two. Once we catch all the regular Pokemon in this game, and we have them organized and shit. once that happens, I want to make a short. And then after that short, I'll do it all again, but like recatch Pokemon and shit. If that makes sense. So I'm only gonna get the so I'm gonna evolve no Pokemon but my starter because I needed to for moves and shit. But other than that, everything. No go back yet. We need two.
This is a Game Boy Advance SP that looked almost brand new a week ago. So this thing, it was in storage. I went to the storage to pick up items someone had bought, and I saw that the corner had been cracked. Yeah, so I thought, okay, so it might be a good idea to make people aware of this. Because I'm guessing this is a pretty serious problem, like, do not buy yellowed consoles. And since this one has paint on it, it's almost impossible to see. Only way you actually can see is because the rubber thingies right here, they're yellowed too. And the back here is yellowed. And this entire shell wasn't even cracked, only this part. I just twisted it a little and the entire thing cracked. So, be careful with what you buy and do not buy yellowed consoles. Look at how easily that snapped. Didn't even try. This is a Game Boy Advance SP that looked almost brand new a week ago. So this thing, it was in storage. I went to...
You guys need to watch.
Hello once again, it's your boy Nate Dogg here, and today I feel like doing something different. As you can tell, I have the gameplay footage changed to something more appealing than WWE 2K. I mean, it ain't perfect, but it sure is damn funny. But the reason why I want to do this video right here, because I want to do a major update on the recent log cows that have been making up the storm. I picked 5 of them that made recent headlines, not because of personal favorites, but because they have more of a relevancy to cover. With that being said, let's get off to the very first subject that we will be talking about. The drunk douchebag himself, Only Use Me Blade. Now, Brian over here has been in some hot water lately. Now, he decided not to get drunk just to go after his Jaeger at the bar, while blowing through stop signs and traffic and recording it all on Twitch. He is kind of responsible for a person's death now? Let me explain. So there was a person that was a fan of Only Use Me Blade for about several months, until he was finally invited to the show. And of course, being an IRL streamer like Only Use Me Blade, Willie was fed with a lot of drugs, pain medicine, and a lot of alcohol. And this resulted him going headfirst to a trash can. It didn't help the fact that Blade was teasing him to fall over by flipping on top of his head while he's passed out drunk standing up. It would take for about an hour for them to call the ambulance, because the people in the house were shooting up on drugs, and they didn't want the police to show up to arrest them. Now, this all happened around August or September. Willie would pass away during a medical-induced coma, and of course, not taking any responsibility, said that this isn't his fault, that he drunk himself to death, and even making this as a final pun to his girlfriend. friend, just as a final fuck you to everyone around him.
Blade slash Beth don't know script I've ever seen. Also, Blade, you are mocking the Last Supper in your thumbnail.
I didn't. That's not my thumbnail. I made the thumbnail my YouTube image. My fucking thing, dude. I have to say this. In a way, Beck, I'm not trying to be funny here, but he did kind of ghost you, literally. He passed, so now he's a ghost, so he technically ghosted you. If you really want to fucking play words like that. I'm not trying to be funny right now.
Later on in that same stream, he would actually be banned for throwing a cat, because that is animal abuse and it's full, and I do not want to have my video demonetized for a third time in a row. With that being said, you can always donate me on Patreon down below for $1 a month. The link is down in the description below. But let's get back on track, ladies and gentlemen. Only Use Me Blade has been so affected by this situation that he would try to stay sober, which is absolutely bullshit. I'm not even fucking joking, because 2 weeks later, he would just sip on some Jaeger saying, "Nah, dude, it's completely alright." But in my personal opinion, I think Willie has about 2 years to live on this world. I start to notice every time when I watch him on his streams, it looks like he's about to blow up because of the amount of alcohol he has put in his body. It is just refusing to process it. I've seen his legs with his yellow, black, brown spores that it's just so disgusting. I'm not going to show you, but I'm only giving you details of what I've seen, and it's just nasty. Don't link these up yourself if you're squeamish. So turning now from a fat, drunk loser to a goblin that makes the Ohio meme come back to life, all the way from Akron, it is Cyrax. Now, we all know that late last month, that Cyrax's court case against Aware of Myself was dropped, despite multiple sources giving out evidence saying otherwise. But the reason why the court case was dropped is because Aware of Myself couldn't really do this, and it was impacting his mental health. And he couldn't afford to get his own shrooms, which I don't know why would you put that on your community post for everyone to see it, including Cyrax's defense attorney. But overall, in the month of October, nothing interesting has spread out to the goblin. Well, only about 2 things. One, being less major, well kind of if you're conservative kids, is that Cyrax was working at a haunted house. I have 2 things to say about this. One, Cyrax didn't need a costume to get the job. And 2, he was fired after people in the business received phone calls from trolls saying that he likes little kids, which is true. And the second major thing that happened in Cyrax of this month is that Music Biz Marty was able to contact with Chance Wilkins' stepfather. He had a lot to describe Chance Wilkins, that he does not want anything to do with him since he likes little kids, that he sucked off on Billy when he was 16 and Chance was about in his 20s, and like most distant family and friends that Cyrax was able to talk to, they don't want nothing to do with him. And speaking of him, Cyrax was able to join Music Biz Marty's channel with his stepfather and had the following conversation, which was anything but civil.
You're nothing but a piece of shit talk. That's all you do is talk shit like a bitch. You're all talking no fight, bitch. You're all talking no fight, fuck boy. You're an old man. You look at it and beat your goddamn ass when I was there.
Very wholesome family that we have here, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to point out the fact that William Gloryhole has said that Chance Wilkins better prepare for Halloween, which by the time of publishing this video is tomorrow. I assume everyone would be dressed up like Chance Wilkins, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a rock concert. I might be having my wish expectations a little too much over here, but I wouldn't put it out of the record though. Moving on from one pedo to another, we have the White Bowser, or by his real name, Earl Doobie. Earl Doobie this year has made his speed run to Log Cow, to Creep, to Pedo, to Horror Cow, to one of the most deplorable human beings on the face of this planet within a year. Not much is really known to talk about Mr. White Bowser himself, but he has said recently that he's going to have an interview with his local news station about cyberbullying. How realistic as this interview is, in my opinion, Earl's just talking out of his ass. However, there is still more stuff that we are still learning about the White Bowser himself. Earl Doobie had his own Discord server called Laugh Tales, in which people would show pornographic images to each other, some being young as 12, and most of the members being minors. People called Earl the Teacher, in which he rewarded children by showing children pornographic images, training them on how to sexually assault women, and possibly dogs, I wouldn't be surprised, and training how to lie to fact by having a higher-than-thou Catholic presence. Believe me, this is exactly what Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and a few Catholic preachers that touch little boys would be in tears of the work that Earl Doobie has done. Screenshots of these would be published as soon as possible, but only time would tell on how darker, disgusting, and deplorable those screenshots are. Heading down to Wyoming, it is the sexy, goth, bad boy himself, King Cobra. King Cobra is an interesting fella, and what he has done recently is entertaining, but mostly concerning for the health of himself and the others around him. You see, King Cobra now has a taste for fine wine. What's this fine wine, you may ask? Well, one of these include a mixture of cookies, sugar, syrup, jalapenos, and some sort of olive oil mix. It is disgusting. I would be lying if I didn't almost throw up by seeing that the first time. Now, it's really concerning that he's starting to mix raw wine ingredients without any sorts of refrigeration and just letting it sit for about 4 hours at room temperature before drinking it whole.
He's a fucking mad lad.
A whole jug of mixed raw ingredients. Now, this could eventually form botulism. What is botulism, you might ask? Well, botulism is a rare but serious illness caused by a toxin that attacks the body's nerves and causes difficulty breathing, muscle paralysis, and even death. That is the exact definition that I pulled out from the CDC. You can Google it yourself if you want. So it's going to be more concerning if our boy Joshua right here gets diagnosed with botulism. We already know that he has a piss-poor condition of his lungs, even though he smokes like a chimney. That doubles down the fact that he is huffing on cologne, duster, paint, anything that he gets his hands on. He's drinking himself to death. He's making wild food combinations that a normal person wouldn't eat. It's just too little too late for our boy King Cobra. Now, Nate Dogg, who is the other people that he's affecting with? Well, if you remember in the King Cobra universe, if you've been following lately, King Cobra has a pet dragon. A bearded dragon, if one's to say. King Cobra has had this pet dragon for about 6 months now, which is really concerning and surprising that he has kept that alive for that long, considering the fact that he has accidentally killed a praying mantis within a span of 3 days, and then later on sold it online as a wizard stick, shows to me that he has little, if not no, respect for anything that he takes care of. And to speak further truth of my statements, I have stumbled upon a video where Puff is having a seizure in his tank. Viewer discretion advised for the next following clip I'm about to show you right here.
There he goes. I saw you soaking in your dish, Puff. And I love my puffers. I gave him some fresh water in his dish, and he was just soaking in it, chilling out. I watched him take a huge gulp of water. I just got done spraying him with some water. The water in the mist bottle is literally lukewarm. Oh, Puff, you're good. Puff, you're good. It's okay. It's okay, Puffers. I don't know the history of this bearded dragon, but he's definitely in a loving home. Puff, I love you.
The fact that Joshua thinks that this is just a normal thing that lizards should be doing, it is completely a slap on the face. But overall for King Cobra for now, is that I'm probably thinking that for Thanksgiving, he's probably going to accidentally serve Puff on a Thanksgiving platter in one of his crazy cookbooks. Now before we move on to our last lockout, I want to do an honorable mention. And that honorable mention, if we just head south off Wyoming and go to downtown Denver, we might stumble upon the homeless Daniel Larson. Now Daniel Larson, through last month of September to now, has been quite busy if you haven't noticed. Daniel Larson, if you remember, was arrested last month for assaulting a security guard just because he couldn't get to a game featuring Deion Sanders, saying that he was going to be interviewed by Deion Sanders and how he was going to sing the national anthem. This was obviously set up by trolls, but when you tell Daniel anything, he's going to fall for it face value. But nothing's really new has happened to Daniel lately. He's been called by the police multiple times, saying how he was going to B-word the White House, that he supports Hamas and the Israel versus Palestine conflict, the whole craziness that the trolls told him to say. But on one occasion of what the trolls wanted to do with Daniel, 2 young men came by and said they want to give Daniel a free haircut. And so they did, but the only one problem is that they forgot their brush. And so they kids went back home to get their brush. 15 minutes turned to 30 minutes, then turned to 6 hours, and then he realized, damn, I got bamboozled. But I don't know, guys. This new haircut sits with his schizophrenic attitude. I will let you guys know for a future Daniel Larson video, which is more likely since this video will be probably recorded on Sunday and be published on Monday. Now, to the final person of this video, the founding person of the term lolcow, that is Chris Chan. Now, recently of this month, Chris Chan has made his return on the internet once more by making a video with the most bizarre edits that was obviously not made by him. He then did a major stream where he would only answer positive answers. This proves the fact that Chris Chan, once he was caught of doing this horrible deed with his mom, he decides by himself that he does not want anything to do with this entire situation. It's obviously just him just retconning everything, just like he does with his own comic books. But during this whole live stream, he talks about making new SD merch, going to an anime convention next year, and on one particular part, he received a phone call from one of the people from the Prater group, supposedly. If you don't know any Chris Chan lore before of July 2021, the Prater group were a group of trolls that wanted to mess with Chris mentally. Chris Chan even gave him the idea of him peeing onto a lit taser so he can quote-unquote zap to the extreme. Just awful, ladies and gentlemen. It also seems that Chris Chan has been posting more frequently than he does, so he must have like a whole video that he's running with a group of people. And the way how he's just posting future comics, it just tells us that Chris has never changed and will never learn from his behavior. And that's pretty much going to do it for the whole lolcow update. Just a recap of people that are featured here. Let me know in the comments down below if I missed anyone. I hope you guys have a great day today. Be sure to like and subscribe for the video for more content, and I hope you would have a day and take care.
Never a dull day with Earl Noob. High five. All right. I think